Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Hoven of Ramos Law and your host of Health Matters. Today, it's about the system that you never hear about, but you use all the time. It's your myofascial system. We're going to talk myofascial system right now. As we move around everywhere from one place to another, if we're working out, if we're transitioning from sitting to standing, if we're just walking from our desk to the lunchroom, no matter what we do, we are using our myofascial system to help us get there. So to define the myofascial system a little better for you, think of it this way. Myo means muscle, and fascial is a type of tissue that if you're a steak eater or a meat eater, you've seen kind of a tendinous, white, almost like a spider webby thing in between some of the parts of meat. That is the fascial system. Now, interestingly enough, the muscles and the fascia, they're always tied together, and the fascia is so intricate and so in depth that if we took away all the muscles, all the nerves, all the bones, everything, your fascial system would show the entire outline of you. So the fascial system is interwoven with all of the muscles, all of the tissues. It's everywhere. And so what happens is I want you to think of the myofascial system as a system of pulleys and ropes and wires that help us go from one position to another or one place to another. If I move my arm muscle, there's a lot of fascial tension that occurs not only from here to here, but also that goes down my back and even into the part of my hip on the opposite side. So these fascial planes, they're beautifully described in a book by Thomas Myers called Anatomy Trains. And through this connection between muscles and the fascia, that's what allows us to create tension, to create energy through movement, and to recover and to heal. Now, where that comes into play for us is if you've been in an injury situation where you were in a car accident or you slipped and fell or a sports injury or just chronic overuse, that myofascial system gets messed up. And if the myofascial system is not moving right, it can cause joint distortion as well. But how do we reverse this process? Number one, make sure you have good stretching. So if you're stretching well, if you're doing the right kind of stretches, full body stretches, it's like a cat. Have you ever seen a cat in the morning where they lift up and they just kind of stretch and move through things? They're stretching that fascia, that fascial tissue, and they're also stretching the muscles. So they're getting both of those components. We need to do the same thing. Flexibility needs to be part of our everyday maintenance, but in injury, you're going to get specific stretches from your therapist, from your doctors. They're going to help with the area that you're talking about. And guess what? It might not be just the areas that you think. So in other words, if you have a shoulder injury, you might be actually stretching a hip or even your spine. So these things are all best given, these stretches, by someone who really knows the myofascial system. Also, the other thing with myofascial treatment is we can use pressure or compression. That comes in the form of massages, it can come in the form of foam rollers, lacrosse balls. All these different tools can be used to help, think of it, release that flow so that the muscle it can move without getting really rigid, and that the fascial tissue can be stretchy and fluid and not get bound up, because if that fascial tissue gets bound up, it won't allow the muscle to work. So working on both the myofascial, or both components of the myofascial system, super important. This is a big topic, so if you have questions on this, I'm happy to answer them. Just email me, jim@ramoslaw.com. And of course, if you found this helpful, please send it around to your family and friends, because we want to make sure everyone is taking care of their myofascial system. And until next time, remember, your health matters.